They built the greatest empire the world had ever seen. They commanded armies of hundreds of thousands. They had more power than any man alive. And yet, almost none of them died in peace. Stabbed by their own guards, poisoned by their own wives, strangled in the dead of night, smothered under a pillow. The Roman emperors ruled the world, and the world destroyed them one by one. Of the first 30 Roman emperors, only one died of natural causes in his sleep. Just one. Every single other one met an end that reads like something out of a dark, twisted thriller. Today, we are going inside those deaths. The betrayals. The final moments. The men who thought they were gods and found out they were not. Welcome back to Epoch Stories, where history is not just dates and names. It is real people, real power, and real consequences. If you are new here, welcome to the channel. You are going to want to stick around for this one. We are talking about the most powerful men in the ancient world and how their stories ended. And I promise you, some of these will genuinely shock you. Before we go further, if you have ever watched one of our videos and thought, this is different, this is the channel for you. Hit subscribe, tap the bell, and let's get into it. Let's start at the very beginning. Augustus, the first true Roman emperor. The man who took a broken, war-torn republic and turned it into the most powerful empire on earth. He ruled for over 40 years, longer than almost any emperor after him. And when the end came for Augustus, it came quietly. He died in his bed, in the arms of his wife Livia, whispering his final words to her. Some historians say he asked her if he had played his role in life well. It was the death of a man at peace. But here is the thing that most people do not know. Many ancient writers suspected Livia herself had something to do with speeding that death along. She allegedly poisoned figs straight from the garden tree he loved so much. Whether that is true, we will never know. But the fact that people believed it tells you everything about the world these emperors lived in. Even a peaceful death carried a shadow of suspicion. Then came Tiberius. Cold, paranoid, and deeply unpopular by the end of his reign. He retreated to the island of Capri and essentially governed from a distance, while Rome whispered terrible things about what he did there in private. When Tiberius finally fell ill at the age of 77, some accounts say he seemed to recover briefly, and that brief recovery terrified the people around him. So his own Praetorian Guard commander, a man named Macro, smothered him with his own bed covers. The most powerful man in the Roman world, suffocated like a candle being put out. But nothing could have prepared Rome for what came next. Caligula, the emperor who declared himself a living god, who reportedly made his horse a consul just to humiliate the Senate, who executed people for sport and humiliated Rome's most powerful families without a second thought. He ruled for only 4 years, and for much of it, Rome held its breath in terror. His end came on the 24th of January, in 41 AD. A group of his own Praetorian guards cornered him in a palace corridor and stabbed him 30 times. 30. They wanted to be absolutely certain. His wife and infant daughter were killed the same day. Caligula had made so many enemies that when news of his death spread across Rome, people did not mourn. They celebrated. After the chaos of Caligula, Rome got Claudius. Quiet, scholarly, underestimated his entire life. He was the emperor nobody expected, and he actually governed well. He expanded the empire, reformed the legal system, and kept Rome stable. But he made one catastrophic mistake. He married a woman named Agrippina the Younger, and Agrippina had a son from a previous marriage, a son she was determined to put on the throne. His name was Nero. In 54 AD, Claudius died after eating mushrooms at dinner. The ancient sources are almost unanimous Agrippina poisoned him. She needed him gone before he could change his will. Claudius, the careful, methodical emperor, undone by a plate of food at his own table. And the son Agrippina killed for? He eventually tried to have her killed too. That is the world of Roman imperial power. Nobody was safe, not even your own mother. If you are still with me right now, do me a quick favor. Hit the like button. It genuinely helps this channel reach more people who love history told this way. Drop a comment telling me which emperor's story has shocked you the most so far. And if you have not subscribed yet, now is the perfect time. We put out stories like this regularly, and you do not want to miss them. Now, Nero. Nero is one of the most infamous names in all of history. He is remembered for fiddling while Rome burned, for persecuting Christians, for executing anyone he saw as a threat, including his own mother, whom he eventually had killed after a failed attempt to drown her in a collapsing boat. Yes, that actually happened. He had a boat specially designed to sink, invited her aboard, and when she survived by swimming to shore, he sent assassins to finish the job. But in the end, the man who had everyone else killed found himself completely alone. The Senate declared him a public enemy. His generals turned against him. His guards abandoned their posts. Nero fled Rome in disguise, ended up hiding in a servant's villa outside the city, and when he heard the sound of approaching horsemen coming to arrest him, he could not bring himself to do what was necessary. He had to beg one of his own servants to help him. His final words, according to ancient accounts, were, "What an artist the world is losing in me." Even in his last breath, Nero was performing. Then came the year of the four emperors, 69 AD, where Rome went through Galba, Otho, and Vitellius in a single year. Galba was dragged through the streets and dismembered by soldiers loyal to Otho. Otho, surprisingly honorable at the end, chose to take his own life rather than drag Rome into further civil war. Vitellius was captured, humiliated, dragged half-naked through Rome, tortured, and thrown into the Tiber River. 3 emperors. 1 year. Rome was consuming itself. Domitian ruled with an iron fist, executed senators freely, and demanded to be addressed as Lord and God. He was assassinated in his own bedroom by a group that included members of his household staff, people he saw every single day. Even his wife was involved in the plot. The man who called himself a god was killed by the people who made his bed. And then there is Commodus, the emperor, who believed he was the reincarnation of Hercules. He renamed Rome after himself. He fought in the gladiatorial arena, which was considered deeply shameful for an emperor. He executed people on a whim. His inner circle eventually decided enough was enough. They tried to poison him first. When he vomited up the poison, a wrestler named Narcissus was sent into his bath and strangled him. The emperor who wanted to be remembered as a god was choked to death in his bathtub. The pattern never broke. Emperor after emperor, the story was the same. Power so absolute it drove men to madness. Paranoia so deep it made enemies of allies. And violence so normalized that even the most powerful man alive was never truly safe. Here is what sits with you long after the history books close. These men had everything: armies, palaces, wealth beyond imagination, the loyalty of millions. And almost all of them died afraid, or betrayed, or alone. Because the kind of power that makes you untouchable also makes you a target for everyone around you. The throne of Rome was not a seat of safety. It was a countdown. And that, perhaps, is the most important lesson Rome ever gave us. Power without trust is just a very beautiful trap. If this video gave you something to think about, share it with someone who loves history. Leave a comment below. I want to know which emperor's death hit you the hardest. Subscribe to Epoch Stories if you are not already part of the family. We tell history the way it deserves to be told: raw, real, and unforgettable. Until next time.